Alright fellas, garage sale to a haul. There's prices on some of this stuff, I left it on there, but you know, just like most garage sales or flea markets or whatever the hell, you take your armfuls of shit up to the counter, you drop it off, and you go, hey? And they say, meh, blah. And you say, ah, man, I only brought blah. And they go, meh, okay. And you walk off with it. So I left price tags on this just so you could see some of whatever the hell this stuff would have cost. I did buy this guy here. Had a price tag $6.50. But you know, it's just another slide hammer. And I don't have enough of these slide hammers. Something about Michigan on this piece right here, which is really the only reason I bought it, because the slide hammer itself, it's really no big deal. I have a couple of those. It says Jackson, Michigan, USA on there. I don't know. We'll clean that up and see what the hell it actually says. This one, you throw some jaws in there, press them in. Of course, all this shit needs to get freed up because, you know, the last time they used this was the last time they used it, and it was 20, 30 years ago, I bet. Look, there's still a dead spider in there. Probably older than my kid. Yeah, you know, like I said, it's just one of the things to throw in the hand when you take it up and drop it on the table. Did get an assortment of files as well. Big ass rat tail file. It's in pretty good shape. There's some spots down here where looks like there's just some gunk in there, which is no big deal. You can pick that out or just turn it around and not use that spot. Big old rasp file. That one actually is the Heller Brothers. So yeah, New Jersey. The same thing with this one. They really just need to get thrown in some kind of rust bath. Get, you know, brought back into working order. There's a couple of these teeth down here that are flat. But I mean, if anything, huge chunk of steel. And God, it's so cheap. This guy right here is one of them one-way files. I think this is for a lot of wood, getting a lot of wood off at one time. So yeah, I'll probably never use this. And the BOS, yep, box of shit. Now I had grabbed some of this stuff separately, but when I went up to his table, he had this box sitting here with a few sockets and a couple of different pliers and stuff. He said, hey, these are all Snap-on and Bluepoint and Mac. I'll make you a deal. And so I threw my other shit down there with it, and I said, okay, well, how much for all of it? Well, it was $40 is what we settled on. Like this right here. We had $25 on this thing of Mac extensions. A couple of wobblies. Yeah, Mac. Yeah, Mac. Mac. So there's some Mac wobblies. This right here is actually a hex. 5/16 Mac. This right here is a T55. She's a little loose in there, but maybe pound that pin out or spread it back out. She'll hold in better. This is one of the things I took up there. I got that tip out there, but that's how she stores. That's how she reams. It's that simple. This is a spring operated Bluepoint pipe cutter and reamer. It says right there 1/8 to 1 inch diameter, made in USA. So something you're not going to find from Bluepoint, made in USA today. It's all going to be Taiwan or Chinese crap. But yeah, it is, and it works. This is one of the things I took up there with me. These are Wilby. They're not offset, they're angled. You know, 3 different sizes are there. I just always kind of like these. They make battery pliers, but if you have a pair of these make excellent battery pliers. These guys right here, Proto, say $2 on them. These guys right here, lock ring pliers, great for all kinds of other shit, up to and including lock rings. I got these over here on my rack of mostly used shit, and actually these, I don't know, these do have the dot in them. I can't remember if I had to use those dots before or not. Yeah, old Snap-on. These are the Proto. So, yeah, the Protos are in better shape as far as that goes, but I think versatility, that little fucking dot right there, may make quite a little bit of world of difference. A little bit different length there also, but yeah, sometimes you don't need longer handles, more leverage. Yeah, for what they were, included in the kit, great. Bluepoint 8-inch crescent, works all the way closed to all the way open. Another Bluepoint, old enough to be made in USA. So, oh, look at there. Snap-on Tools Corporation, Kenosha, Wisconsin. Bluepoint? You mean this thing says Bluepoint and Snap-on? Hold the fucking phone. Snap-on and Bluepoint are the same thing? You gotta be fucking shitting me. There ain't no way in hell. Because, yeah, that's gotta... Doesn't make any sense whatsoever. I'm sorry, Snap-on fanboys, that this here... The Snap-on tool says Bluepoint, but it fucking does, and maybe I'll just grind that off so that you fellers aren't all ass hurt whenever people say Bluepoint is Snap-on, because I actually have a wrench here that says Bluepoint and Snap-on, whatever. Anyway, so yeah, more Bluepoint USA, so yeah, Snap-on. These are just, 90-degree snap ring pliers. Old school style. I had a pair of Macs. I've had a Pittsburgh Automotive. I think it was Pittsburgh Automotive. Yeah, most of the time these snap ring pliers are the ones, if you're a DIY guy, you definitely use these over the real super nice ones with the comfy grips, because you don't use these all the time. Every now and again, take ratchets apart, or some other shit with some machinery or whatever, maybe a CV shaft or some kind of shit like that, you need to take the clip off. This right here is the little guy, is a Snap-on pocket screwdriver, and yeah, she's got a little bit of a lean to her, but you need to straighten that out pretty much. Most of these things do end up getting pretty fucking beat up, because they're not made for anything other than light duty, and most guys who buy Snap-on tools, there's no such thing as light duty, so they get fucked up all the time. Slightly larger, this one is a Matco USA, has the grippy ripples on it. Yeah, that's a good one, even though, yeah, Matco, I don't like Matco, but whatever. Screwdriver's a screwdriver. Oh yeah, good old Stanley. Little pocket nail puller and pry bar. I've had one of these in my construction tool belt for years, and these things just, you don't get any better than that. That's just quality made tool. It's very purpose built, and it works perfect for its purpose. There's some more Bluepoint snap ring pliers. These have little bitty tips on them. These have the rivet here, so you can't change it from inside to outside. So these guys right here are only if you push it together, it moves out. These are external pliers. So yeah, a pair of external Bluepoint snap ring pliers, mini tip, always handy too. This is one of the things I took up there in my handful of shit, and I didn't see any name on it, but I like the knurling, and it is 1/4 inch. There's one detent there to hold her straight. No dimple in the end there to plug the extra, ratchet onto the breaker bar. But yeah, it's cute breaker bar. Old enough to be made in USA, I'm sure. Probably old enough to where they didn't need to put USA on it, because, well, everything was made in the USA. There's a wee Snappy Phillips. These little stubbies, excellent. Love the plastic handles. That also included in the kit. I did have a couple of wrenches. Here's an old school Bluepoint 1/2 inch. Look at how thin walled that ring is. That is super thin. So I know this isn't exactly the same size, but look at how thin that old school USA box end is compared to this newer Taiwanese. And this is 10 millimeter. This is 1/2 inch. So you're looking at the difference between basically 13 millimeter and 10 millimeter there. But look at the size difference, the thickness on the wall of those boxes right there. Just so much difference. And this one has not been modified and grounded down by the guy who owned it. Not only that, not a whole lot of difference there in the end. But you know, this one right here, you don't have to wrap rubber bands around it so that it won't bite you or kill your other wrenches in your drawer. It's not that lobster clawy. Here's a snap-on wrench that is 5/16, so you know, a wee guy. It's snap-on. Bluepoint Supreme. Back when they were not, you know, just Bluepoint, they were Supreme. I got two of those actually. I think this one's the same size. Yep, 7/16, 3/8, both open in. Cute little wrenches. Here's even a cuter wrench. This guy right here is Mac, 1/4 inch, and I think it's 15/64 and 1/4 inch. So 15/64, and for you guys who only use metric, 16/64 over on this side. Yeah, fractions hard. Also got a snap-on punch here, 3/8. You know, a little center punch. I don't know if it started out as a center punch or if he ground that into a center punch. But yeah, we'll go ahead and we'll put another grind on that and get a good point, because that's pretty dull. This was a cute set of pliers. I picked them up. I don't even see the name on them. Another one of those $2 items. Nope, it says Germany under there. Cute little lanyard hole there at the end of these. They are the side cutters that come out of the side. See that? You know, today's traditional, they line up here on the side. These were different. They forged it out so that you could sharpen it easier. These are like a mini duckbill with a side cutter. Cute. And not only that, these are from Germany. So, hey, you know, shout out to our Knipex brothers. Yeah, they still have good teeth on them. I mean, this guy had boxes and boxes and boxes and boxes of shit, and I went through and, you know, found what I thought to be considered the best of the best or most interesting shit, and that's how I come home with it. Some of this stuff, you know, I didn't go there to specifically buy a 7/16 and 3/8 Bluepoint wrench. It just happened to be part of the deal. So, you know, hey, I got one. I got two. This was one of the things I took up there. 350 on this. This one happens to be a New Britain, and it is small and big. So, yeah, most of the time, you know, a lot of the time you find them, they only have the one hole. So, this one can do even smaller studs. So, yeah, just love these kinds of things. You know, you look at the teeth on that all the way around, and they're not mangled up and fuckered. So, yeah, plenty of life left in this guy still. This right here is a Mac socket, and it is for your small inch bits. So you go ahead and put your bit in there, your screwdriver bit, and it's now 3/8 drive socket. You know, back in the day, you didn't need 72-inch toolboxes, and all you had were the 26-inch wide shit, and you had 3 banks of them and whatever. So this is what you had instead of, you know, a whole row of frickin' sockets. You had the bits that went into one socket, and maybe you kept a spare one of these around, you know. But yeah, old school, that's how she used to be. Both of these are Mac, little Mac 1/4 inch sockets, old 7/16 and 3/8. This is the only shallow snappy that was in there. She happens to be 11. 6.3/8. This right here is a snap-on 1/2 inch. He had some of these, like I said, in a box, and then he had some of them labeled up on the edge of his table there. I do believe this is an impact socket. SIMF 160. All the shit's gone from it, but I believe that she's an impact socket, just judging by the looks of her. I do have a grip of snap-on sockets here. Some of these older, some of these newer. Let's see if we can fiddle those around. Now let's see if that's metric. Yes, all these are metric. Some of these he had $10 a piece on. I'm not giving $10 a piece on the snap-on truck for a snap-on socket. 13/16 there. 7/8 there. 3/4. 11/16 and 3/8. So, womp. The 3/4 is a 12 point. The rest are 6. But deep below 3/8 snappies from the same era, a bygone era. Have this guy right here, KD. And this was one of the ones I carried up there, just because it's, you know, very interesting and kind of unique. You know, you see the back side of this, and you're like, oh, fucking Allen wrenches. And actually, literally no Allen wrenches. This is the old multi-screwdriver before they started putting them on pliers. So yeah, there's your flat tip. It does have a scratch owl, wing bat, and the number 2 Phillips. So yeah, not a hex on this. I mean, this is one of those things where you throw it in a go bag. It takes up very little room, and you still have quite a few tools on there. You know, you don't. I mean, look, zombie stabber right there. Gotcha, bitch. Yeah, perfect. Love it. Beautiful little tool. And since you guys made it here this long, I will show you the very last item in the box. This is a snap-on. Well, these are the number 5. So these are the small ignition pliers that everybody's trying to find. People buy them for like $40 online. Of course, a lot of times the one online, they have the vacuum grip on there. These have a date code of USA, and it looks kind of like a Z. So with that date code right there, these are a 1952 pair of snap-on pliers. They do need a little bit of a cleaning. Some of that shit's wiping away, but just the old fucking thumb sandpaper. So yeah, get a little bit of, you know, go grab one of them polishing cloths and let's give her a little rub down, and all that shit will clean up off of there. But yeah, number 5 ignition pliers, like I said, included in the kit. As a matter of fact, the reason I bought this whole thing right here was I don't have a pair of these pliers yet, and he had them included in the kit. So hey, guess what? Yes, I'll buy all that shit for $40, buddy. This was the first guy ever that after I bought all my shit from him and loaded it up in the fucking Envoy to head home, I stopped back by and I gave him a channel sticker. Said, hey, thanks. If you ever miss your tools, come back and watch them. They'll be on my channel one of these days. So yeah, he knows who he is. Here's your shit. Gonna get put in good use. You know, if we can't use it for something that it's intended for, we'll figure out a purpose for it later on down the road. Oh, 1/2 inch sockets. Snappy. These are all 12 point because they're all older shit. But yeah, as always, like, comment, share, subscribe, love, hate, hardknocksforge@gmail.com. Don't send me any panties. They never fit.